Go to that email.
It's good, you need that and a visa, wow.
No, we did a check yesterday for our trip to golf trip, you don't need it.
To
I
Ireland?
mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
also
yeah.
not the end of the world if.
But when that,
Second
when we
is-
got
Maybe
this-
Ireland, maybe the United Kingdom
Right.
doesn't. They need that here, I think.
That's why.
Yes.
That's why they got out.
Exactly, another
Yeah.
money grab.
But it's just another reason not to go, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's the worst part, it's because it's like another,
I don't think I think it's perfunctory, I think you just have to fill out something.
no,
So that it's not
It's not a big deal.
I don't think it's a big deal, but I think the airlines do it when you book the ticket, the visa, or how do you get the visa?
For both Australia and New Zealand, they have apps. So
You
for
have to do it?
New Zealand, you just scan your passport, and then $52, and you
Oh,
have.
there you go, $52.
there you go.
For Australia,
Yeah, but who tells you about the app, like how do you find out?
every country but America has an app.
Everything is out.
I've traveled a lot, I mean, in the last 5 or 6 years, that's just the way you do it.
Yeah, but not with visas, I mean.
So the visa, do you actually get a copy or something, or?
Get it on your phone,
You get it on the phone, that's it?
but you don't even need it on your phone because it links to your passport, so when you go to the country where
They
you
show
get
it.
a visa, and they scan your passport, it shows them on the screen, and you have
Well,
a.
how far ahead of time do you have to get a visa? Well, what if you don't know if you're going until the day before, can you get a visa?
Really?
Yeah,
New Zealand took about 4 minutes.
oh, sure, so it is money grab.
They want people.
Yeah.
Ireland makes it a little harder though.
Who does?
Ireland,
Yeah, we have.
And he said he just said
I
he's going to
did it.
golf.
I went online and said you didn't need a visa.
I would double
You
check
need a
that.
visa to go there if you're working,
right,
it doesn't need a visa to play it off.
Oh, really?
yeah. If you're working, it's a huge deal, and they only grant you 30 days.
You want a business trip?
So Ireland, then you need a visa,
Yeah,
Iceland too.
Oh. Okay.
every time Darwin goes, they get a visa. and
Every
no
time,
problem.
I mean, every time I went to Chile to work, I had to get a visa, and it was not an app back in those days, it was a
Yeah,
pain.
but now what I'm talking about is more like the countries that never required it, like Switzerland, you have to have a visa now, so. this-
It's not a visa. You're not. It's an
I'm a
EIS,
Yeah,
it's an electronic system for travel authorization.
That's it.
It's not a visa.
It's not a visa?
Oh,
So what
but you
is
still need it.
it?
Electronic system for travel.
So it's kind of like,
Who's that before? It's.
they just made it the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right. Good to, NZEPA, oh, that's good. All right, we're ready? We're ready. Okay, hi, Paul.
Hi. No visitor fee.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's about.
Of course it is. Okay, so we're gonna call the IDA meeting to order and Julio, can you do roll call, please?
Sure, it's off.
Here.
Ms. Lawson, Spencer, Ms. Lang.
Here.
President, Mr. Seaver.
Yeah,
Mr. Superintendent, Ms. Swin.
Here.
Mr. Wayne's president, Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Smith's president, Mr. Steiner.
Here.
Mr. Steiner's president, and Mr. Dunford is.
Yep, yep.
Mr. Malone with the group staff.
Okay. All right, so the first item is to approve the minutes of January 8th. Hope everybody looked at them. I'll make a motion. Any edits, corrections needed? No, all in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Okay, bills and communications, Jen?
We have a revised, right? Yes. Did you bring it? Okay.
I have one.
We added a couple things. So and I'm sorry, we don't have them to circulate, these just came in late. Changes are. We added. We have a legal fee in the amount of $21,682.50, and that's to Hardin, Limited and Boleto, and that's relating to the HVFG and Hudson matter. And then we had an adjustment to the fees to Walter, we added in. I think that was a $1,500 legal fee, which is a pass-through fee relating to the termination of the Forest Bird Hospitality Project. So his line went from $3,000 to $4,500. So
Or currently it's like, what are they, $3.50 an hour pretty much?
No.
You know, a lot more now.
But just a question on that.
We're gonna go to executive.
All right, so well,
We need to pay the bill.
Okay, but wasn't there a tender accepted?
We need to go into executive.
Okay, so,
We need to pay the bill.
okay,
So
There was a tender accepted with strings attached that we're gonna discuss.
okay, fine. So we're gonna hit this.
so what's in, the amended schedule of payments shows a total of 12 payments in the amount of $35,356.55.
Okay. So can I have a motion?
Yeah, sorry.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Nope.
Staff report.
I have a few additions and updates to the staff report. Just for your information, we've completed the procurement of equipment to be leased to Big Eddie Brewery in Harrisburg. So that's leased through our ag business revolving loan and lease fund. I have a new application that I'll send to you hopefully today for assistance with a supermarket, small supermarket in Monticello. The loan committee determined to terminate the van lease. Catskill Brewery was leasing a van from us. It was a van that was originally purchased for use by the food hub, and the food hub didn't need it. The van has broken in catastrophic ways a number of times. And it's currently at Robert Greene. The loan committee determined to have IDA pay for the repairs and then try to sell the van. I know that informally we've given the loan committee the discretion to make those determinations and changes, but I wanted to just mention it for the record and for the purposes of the minutes, if we could have the board accept that that's the plan, to terminate the lease and to sell the van.
Whose name is the lease then?
It's currently leased to Catskill Brewery LLC.
And they did make all the payments of the monthly lease amounts up to the date of termination. So they're in compliance up to the moment we. Based on that.
We can't withstand when kind of you suggest, so.
Okay,
So if it's a lease agreement, why do we have to sell?
We're leasing it to them, we own.
Oh, we own it.
so we're gonna take it back and sell.
We're gonna take it back, fix it and sell it, because it's
Okay,
missing a
so
transaction.
you need a motion? Cause it's missing what? Oh, that's all? Okay.
Besides that, runs great.
So do you need a motion?
Somewhere in the city of Manhattan.
I don't think you have a motion, I'm just informing everybody, it's up to the loan committee.
Oh, right, it's a lot. Okay, so we don't need to. Okay,
We have a number of projects that have reached the end of their agreements with us this year. SPT IAD, which is the Crystal Run Healthcare Facility, MHC 83.
Woodbridge Storage
Yeah, which is the Woodbridge Storage Facility, Millennium Pipeline. And then we received a request from Forestburg Hospitality and Forestburg Property to terminate that agreement. It's not at the end of its term, but as you know, that project was not built out. And recently, a couple of years ago, the board amended the agreements to provide that the documents would terminate in 2025 if they hadn't commenced construction. But they're not going to commence construction, so they asked us to terminate. And those documents have been drafted and awaiting signature by the project. So just for your information, we have those 4 projects terminating this year. The last thing is, and I will email you separately about it, but there is no room for us at the government center on our March meeting date, which is the 11th, sorry, Monday.
So we reserve this room.
So I can reserve this room, or I have other dates that we could meet at the government center. We will potentially want or need a meeting later in March anyway, if there are projects that are in default, or if there's any reason to meet later for a discussion of the audit and carriage reports. Obviously, we hope to have that done by our regular date, but
I won't be here for that meeting.
maybe 11th.
So maybe, I'm not trying to say, oh, you have to change it because of me, but if Susie and I are both not here, that's already 2 members down. Maybe we're making it later.
and who else might not be here? I don't know.
Cannot be if you want.
Well, I just meant, Paul, are you back on March 11th or no?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You're on mute, Paul.
I'm on mute.
I don't know.
mute, but you're muted.
Oh, he's got volume to 100. He said that.
He's muted.
There we go. Hear me now? I'm having trouble with my equipment today. I'm sorry about that.
Sounds like.
Yeah. We could discuss other dates now, or we can do it.
I know, that's not right, when people can meet, no.
If you have it the 11th and you don't get a form, you're gonna be later.
Right. Do you need the meeting on the 11th?
No. Not at this moment. We have various resolutions that we're expecting, but I don't think there's any encouragement. Okay. So I'll send an email. All right. That's it.
Okay. Any new business? We have a bunch of, or is that, no, now we're gonna go through all our different, we have a discussion on the Sullivan County Funding Corp loan and lease programs. You gonna leave that, Jim?
Sure, so as you know, the county and the funding corp have agreed that the county's existing loans and loan programs would be assigned and transferred to the Sullivan County Funding Corporation. As part of that effort, and that is underway, we've gotten most of the information. We now have borrowers paying funding corp rather than the county, so it's going very well. We had some discussions with Grow America, which is formerly the National Development Council, to see if they could help us look at all our existing programs and the programs that are coming from the county, perhaps consolidate some programs, update some guidelines and regulations, because some of these are quite old. I talked to the folks from Grow America this morning. They don't yet have a written proposal for our consideration, but I expect that in the next couple of days. And they're looking at a fee of about $20,000 to do that, which is what we had sort of been discussing in the abstract. So I'll send the proposal as soon as I get it. I just wanted to keep you up to date on the status of that.
Can we get the board to approve you entering into that contract with Pro America so that we can get that on that? The basic purpose is to go through every loan and categorize them as like good credit versus potential loans. I mean, the way we look at them at other lenders is, can they pay them back based upon the assets they have? They probably don't come to us much if that's the case. Can they pay them back based upon an existing business that they own that cash flows? Or is it speculative where we have a business plan and if everything happens okay, they'll have money to pay us back? At HVADC, we've limited that bucket of speculative loans to not more than 10% of the total amount of loans. So that we don't end up with a revolving loan fund that doesn't revolve.
Good.
And that's the purpose of asking.
So this firm is just gonna do basically an audit of all the loans.
They're gonna go,
Rank them.
they're gonna go through all the loans and assist Jen, Julio, whoever internally is going to be the person responsible. Right now, it's mostly, I think it's mostly Julio. They're gonna show him how to go through that process, so that
We're gonna
this is
set up a process of going forward, we know how to do it ourselves.
correct.
Right.
And it also makes us a little bit bulletproof
Yeah,
from the outside, you know,
I think that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, because if you give a loan to somebody to start a seed business, and it's very speculative, how do you tell the next three people in the loan for a seed business? No, without having something that says these are speculative loans and we've already filled up that part of our
Right.
silo.
And then it also gives us,
protection.
and it gives us protection, but it also gives us the ability to communicate why we're not.
Yeah,
taking on a
and
loan.
there's also recent, and you'll get a lot of, you're gonna get a major education on this. The regulations that happened during the banking crisis are now applicable to us. So
Great.
it's okay, we just need a process in place to.
Okay. Is it 10% of the dollars loaned or is it 10% of the loans?
10% of the loan fund.
of the
Money.
loan fund.
So if you had $1 million to
Got it.
loan, you
Yep.
could only loan
100,000
100,000, but we don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be 70, 20, 10 here.
Right.
It can be whatever the board decides, but
And it's for the life of the loan, in other words,
no, it's not for the life of the loan, because what's gonna happen is, under the new federal guidelines, somebody at IDA is gonna have to take a look at every loan every year. And once a speculative business goes into business and they start selling whatever they're selling and it looks better, then they go to
I see,
a different category.
yeah, the risk profile changes.
Or alternatively, you might have one that starts out looking pretty good. Like Apple Engine, remember that one?
Right, yep,
Which,
and then it goes down.
right, so
Okay,
it's gonna be an annual review.
so this is a one-time hiring of this firm,
It's not a firm, but it's a one-time hiring.
it's not a firm.
It's a National Development Council.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're a
they're gigantic,
nonprofit.
yeah, gigantic, not
Yeah.
profit.
Okay, so do you need a motion to approve? Let's do a motion to give Jen the authority to enter into the agreement.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Kathleen, second, Carol, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. You are authorized. Thank you.
It's almost 20 after, Jan, are we having an executive session?
Yeah, we have a number of things to go into executive session for.
Do you want to
we can
finish
do
the
that?
things that are?
We have a
on
guest.
here? Oh, we have a guest?
So-
Yeah, and
What time?
he's ready whenever we're ready for him, I'm gonna call him.
So we don't have any members of the public, so we don't have to worry about the timing.
Well, we have to, we have to stop live streaming.
Right,
Oh,
so we could do executive now since we're not holding anybody up.
Motion for executive session.
okay.
And,
Second, Carol, I was.
Hold on,
And this is.
for executive session because
Oh.
Jen's sitting right there.
Can we say a number of things at once?
You
They
can-
all are,
You can say that it's for a personnel matter, you can say it's the
so it's actually,
financial affairs of a person or corporation, and you can say it's litigation, all of the above apply.
but personnel, it's matters leading to the employment, promotion, suspension, termination of a particular person.
Okay.
Got all that.
Okay, that's what
So those are the three things.
I.
Okay.
You were very quick.
Okay, so we are